We got John, the basketball card guy, here to play some Pepper. This dude has over 4,000 Michael Jordan cards. He's been in the sports trading card collecting hobby for decades. He knows a thing or two about it. So that's why he's here with us today. And John, we're going to switch it up a little bit with you. We're going to have you show off a couple of the items that you have and just try to share some insight and knowledge on some of these cool products that are out there in the memorabilia and sports trading card world. So, John, thanks for joining us, man.
Yeah, you got it. My pleasure. My pleasure. I can start off with some memorabilia. So I have a ball that's cool and meaningful to me. Like, this is one of those things that if you have the opportunity to meet an athlete at a signing, so not everyone is as fortunate as Matthew is here to be able to go out and meet, the athletes in their own spaces, and so if you go to a card show, a lot of them show up, they sign autographs, you pay a fee, and you get a couple of minutes with them to sign something, maybe doing an inscription. And what I always recommend is you pick something, both an item and add some meaning to it for you. And so I had the opportunity to meet Dennis Rodman when he came to the White Plains, Westchester County Center a few years ago. And to me, there was a quote that I had read that was attributed to him that said, "Don't let other people decide who you are." And I mean, it's just a great quote for Dennis Rodman because look, he embodies that like to a T. But I also think it's a good quote to live by. It's like, be your own person, be original. There's a lot to it. And so when I knew he was doing the signing, I was like, I'm going to get a basketball signed. I'm going to pay, I think it was $80 to get the autograph, but I'm going to pay the extra $35 for the inscription. And instead of writing Hall of Fame or, 5-time this or whatever, like a lot of people tend to do like stat lines, I said, I want him to write that quote. And so that's what I got. I got a Bulls ball that I brought with me. And there's his signature on it there.
Oh, it's so
Um,
awesome.
it's such a neat piece. And then I had him signing it in silver originally, which is another piece of the story. That's why you see the D in silver as well. But the silver didn't show up as well on the ball. And he's like, let me sign it in black. I'm like, okay, that's cool. So, don't let other people decide who you are is the inscription on there. And then signed by Dennis. So, when you have an opportunity like that, bring meaning to it. I mean, this is something that I display in my office. And like I said, it's not just a phrase that he said, it's something that, I live by as well. And it's also unique because I don't think anyone else has a ball, at least to this point. Now people are going to go do it, but I don't think anyone else has something like this from him with that exact inscription. It makes it a little bit more unique from a collecting standpoint as well.
Yeah, very personal touch to it. And what this podcast is all about is finding success through consistency and just to motivate and inspire people. You've been doing like all this card collecting and memorabilia collecting for years and years, and you're reaping some of the benefits right now with how the market's been booming and
Sure.
and your business as is. But like, you've brought so much value to this afternoon, but there's also just that like motivating and inspiring line that Dennis Rodman said that you said that impacted you a lot. So that's so
Yeah.
cool that you got him to write that inscription for your autograph.
Yeah. Make it personal. Like it just as any kind of collectible that you pick up, it says something to you. Like if you're going to go meet someone somewhere, it can be anything from the item that you're getting signed. So like I know some folks that look, it's not as valuable on paper, but like I know folks that take a ticket from the first game that they saw someone play at and they have them sign that ticket. Like, and that ticket to anyone else in the world will not be worth as much if they had just gotten a jersey signed or something else. But to the person who held that ticket at the game, it was the first time they saw them play, put it in their pocket, kept it with them all these years, and now they got it signed by the player. Super meaningful, way more valuable to them. And that's what I always encourage people, like, go after that kind of stuff because it means more to you.
Big time,
I'll show you
big
another
time.
example, like DeAndre Ayton. This is his rookie card in Prism. Cool dunking pose. They made a really rare version of the card. This is the silver Prism that has a piece of a patch in it that they only made 10 of that I picked up recently. I just love this dunking pose. He's got the tongue sticking out. It's just a killer image. But the biggest rookie card that they made of him was a card that they only made 5 of. And it's huge. I mean, it's not just huge in value, it's huge in size. And so this is a physical card that has a handprint from DeAndre Ayton in it He signed it in silver, but he actually took his hand in orange paint like I would when I was a kid. Just so reminiscent of that, like finger painting, and slapped a high five basically. The crazy part is if like you look at how big his hand is comparison to mine, like holy cow. But you kind of get a feeling for what a little bit more about the player. It's a little bit more personal. They hand numbered these, so I have 4 of 5. They only made 5, and then they made a 1 of 1, which they do with a lot of cards too, where he wrote an inscription on the top and signed it is the only difference, and then it was numbered 1 of 1 on the bottom. Same pose though. It's that same photo they used on the rookie cards they used here, and just an awesome piece. And this did not come out of a pack. This is something that Panini sold directly on their website. It was a really cool item. I had the opportunity to pick up Trae Young as well, and I didn't at the time, but I kick myself for that.
Oh, man.
Now.
It's all right. I'm sure it's going to happen. And especially a lot of collectors out there who are just starting or have been doing this for a while have experienced that.
Absolutely. But it's just a neat piece overall. Then there's different variations on cards too. I always like if there's more than one of a type of card that you can get. I always like grabbing both if there's 2 or if there's 5, get the different kinds. This was the very first year of Topps Finest in basketball. So this is the Michael Jordan 93-94 Topps Finest. This was the set that started all of the chromium cards. So when we hear about Bowman Chrome, Topps Chrome, Topps Finest, this was the first year of that. So it's a very important set. So this is the base card, and I also have the refractor, which you can see in the light has a rainbow sheen to it. A lot of people ask what's the difference between a refractor and a regular card. Under the light, you can definitely see the refractor refracting. And so these 2 cards are out of that first set. I actually have both full sets. I made the whole set of regular base cards and refractors. The refractors were 1 in 7 packs. It was about a 300 card set. It was an insane undertaking. Took me years to make this set, but piece of history. For me, it was the first time they had ever done these refractors. This is what led to Prism. This whole technology that's on this card is the same as this, and this is the first one. So, it's really neat to have that kind of a throwback, within the collection. Last but not least, kind of the iconic Grail card for a lot of people. I don't have a Gem Mint 10 one, but, this is my Michael Jordan rookie card, and it's well-centered. It's a nice looking card. Mine's a 6.5 it got, but it's a gorgeous 6.5. And, it's just a really iconic card. Well-centered, which was important to me. That's the thing about grading that I always tell people too, that not all grades are equal. If you get a card that's a 5 or a 6, especially the lower grades, if you get a 5 or a 6, they were graded that way for a reason. So you may get a 5 that's super off-centered but has perfect corners. Or you might get a 5 that is perfectly centered but has a couple of bum corners. You need to make sure that what you're getting, if you're buying one of those, is what's visually appealing to you. To me, having a card centered is really important, especially for something like with a really distinctive border like this. I would much rather have a centered card like this than a card with perfect corners, personally. But that's what you got to ask yourself, like when you're buying this stuff. It's like, am I getting exactly what I want out of it?
So when did you get that card?
This card I got probably 5 years ago.
Okay. All right. So going back to the point of how sports trading cards and collecting them, it's not just you go to the store and you hit the jackpot. This is something that like takes time. So you aren't one of the guys who are coming in here buying a Michael Jordan 6.5 rookie card as an investment. This is just something that you had because you love and enjoy it. And if there's anything that we learned about you and your story from the full episode of Keep Swinging and this bonus content, is that if you just love, or if you just do what you love, great things can happen. And this is just the perfect example of that.
The product of it, you know, like I always thought it was a great looking card. I was able to get it. I paid, I think, $600 for this card when I bought it. You know, and now it's, you know, around 10 grand, I think, is the current value of it.
Wow.
So again, it's great ROI if I were willing to sell it, but
yeah,
it's, you know, it's just $600 out of my pocket still. Would I spend 10 grand on it today? Personally, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. It's too high for me as a collector to put that money in. But when I had the opportunity at $600 to buy it, I did, and it was well worth it then. But the other piece of it too with the community is you can trade. Like, this is a great card that I traded for recently that has meaning to me because it's got two of my favorite players on it. And it's got two game used patches. Again, the pieces with the stitching. I love the design of it. So this is, Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant game used patches. So you get a piece of each of their game used jerseys. And I just love the pictures. I think they're action shots. They're cool. They're both going up. And it's what a neat piece. And so something like that, like, one of the great things about social media, and I'm not a big fan of social media in general. It's not like one of my favorite things in the world, certainly, but for collecting and creating real community around collectors and cards and sports, there's nothing else like it. Like, I've been introduced to so many people who are passionate about this, as passionate as I am, but they have different players that they're passionate about. So I'm, shipping them stuff. They're shipping me stuff. I get gifts in the mail, like random cards come to me, whether it be like a Thomas Bryant or a Michael Jordan. Someone the other day I mentioned, oh my God, you have a Kobe Bryant I don't have. I need to grab that. Let me see, like, I'll buy it from you. And the guy's like, forget about it. I'm just shipping it to you. And I'm like, it's a $300 card. He's just sending it to me.
That's nuts.
It's an amazing community. And I'll be sending him something back, it's just awesome, and I've not experienced anything quite like this with anything else. Maybe it's because there's so many cards in the world and there's so many variations and there's so many reasons to like different cards. But I just found like there's so much great coexisting within this. And it's a really great community environment. There's very little competitive spirit in it to turn me off to it. Like, I don't see too many people, other than in an auction, like when you lose an auction or something. But other than that, you don't really find people gunning after each other, about cards. It's usually really nice and helpful. And all the people I associate with, at least, are really good about helping each other out. So.
Well, John, you're definitely one of the great guys and individuals in this industry. So I want everybody to be able to stay in touch with you and follow along in your journey and your collection and maybe where they could pick up a card or two. So where's the best place for people to follow you?
Instagram's the best, @basketballcardguy. My website, you can contact me through there, is basketballcardguy.com. I'm on Facebook, which is just Facebook.com/basketballcardguy. And then Twitter, unfortunately, does not allow you to have that many characters in a name. So they didn't allow me to be Basketball Card Guy there. So I'm B-Ball Card Guy on Twitter. But I tweet the least out of all of them. Instagram is definitely the best place to be. I answer every direct message on there. I make it a thing to do that. And of course, my email on my website, john@basketballcardguy.com, JON, is how people reach me there.
Dude, you are the man. Thank you so much for hopping on.
Thank you. Oh, it's my pleasure.
We'll end with some more ASMR, just in case if anybody wants it. Thank you so much for watching that episode of Keep Swing. Man, we have so many more awesome guests on the way, and I don't want you to miss any of it. So please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Also, feel free to go back and watch past episodes. And again, if you subscribe to the channel, that is the best way to find out who we are going to have on the show next. And if there's a guest that you want on the show, I will do all that I can to have him or her come on. So please leave a comment. Let me know who you want to see on Keep Swinging coming up. And also, too, feel free to leave a comment what you thought about the episode in the comment section below. Give it a like. And if you head over to Instagram, I'll be posting clips from all these interviews. Just a little daily inspiration. And there you can interact with me as well. Until then, have an awesome day and keep swinging.